Hi student, we are discussing the fourth part of the solid state topic. Here we are going to discuss the electrical properties of solid. Solids have three types of electrical properties. Some of them are conductors, some of them are insulators, and rest is being semiconductors. First we will discuss about the conductors. Solids having electrical conductivity of 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7 per ohm per meter are called conductors. There are two type of conductors, metals and electrolytes. Metal conduct electricity by movement of electron and electrolyte conduct electricity by movement of ions. Now let us discuss about the insulators. Solids having low electrical conductivities in the range 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10 per ohm per meter are called insulators. For example, most of the non-metals and molecular solids are insulators. The third is being the semiconductors. Semiconductors, the solids having electrical conductivity in the range of 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to 4 per ohm per meter are called semiconductors. Examples, metalloids like silicon, germanium are semiconductors. Now let us discuss about the band theory, which will discuss in detail the electrical properties of solids. So band theory, electrical conductivities of solids are explained in terms of band theory. A band theory is made up of closely spaced electronic energy levels. Band formation can be correlated to the formation of molecular orbitals by interaction of atomic orbitals. Band theory considers the formation of two types of band. The first, conduction band, and second is the valence band. Conduction band, the highest energy band containing electron, is called conduction band. I repeat here again, the highest energy band containing electrons is called conduction band. Conduction band is formed by interaction of outermost energy level of closely spaced atoms in solid. Conduction band may be partially occupied or vacant. Electrons in conduction band are mobile and delocalized over entire solid. They conduct electricity when electrical potential is applied. Valence band, the band having lower energy than conduction band, is called valence band. The electrons in valence band are not free to move because they are tightly bound to the respective nuclei. Now let us discuss about band gap. The energy difference between valence band and conduction band is called band gap. Size of the band gap decides whether the electrons from valence band can be promoted to vacant conduction band or not. When the band gap is very large, electrons cannot promoted from valence band to conduction band by thermal energy, and it is called as forbidden zone. When the band gap is small, electrons from higher energy level in valence band can be promoted to conduction band by absorption of energy. So due to small gap, conduction of electricity is possible. Now let us discuss about the metals. Now firstly see the figure 1.23, which will display you the metallic conductor properties. Metals are good conductor of electricity. The reason behind this we are discussing here. The outermost electron of all the atoms in the metallic crystal occupy conduction band. The number of the electrons in conduction band of metals is large. Hence, metals are good conductor of electricity. The conduction band in metal can be labeled as S band, overlapping S and P band, and so on. This label depend upon the atomic orbital involved in band formation. Band formation in metallic conductor results in delocalization of outermost electrons of all the metal atom, leaving behind metal ions. the cations of metal atom occupying lattice sites vibrate about their mean positions. Now let us discuss what happens at high temperature. At high temperature, metal cations undergo increased vibrational motion about the lattice sites. The flow of the electron is interrupted by increased vibrational motion. Therefore, conductivity of metal decreases with increase in temperature. Now let us discuss about the insulator. See the figure 1.24 in which we have shown that there is a large gap, forbidden gap is there between the filled valence band and empty conduction band. So for insulator, valence band is completely filled with electron and the conduction band is empty. The valence band and the conduction band are separated by a large energy gap called forbidden gap as shown in the figure. Hence, thermal energy is insufficient to promote the electron from valence band to conduction band. As a result, the conduction band remains vacant and therefore the material acts as insulator. Now let us discuss about the semiconductor. See in the figure, the band gap is very small energy gap is there. Electrical conductivity of semiconductor are intermediate between that of the metals and insulators. The metalloid, silicon and germanium are semiconductors. Like insulator, the valence band here is also completely filled with the electrons and the conduction band is empty, but the energy gap between the two bands is smaller than that in insulators. At the temperature above absolute zero, a few electrons in the valence band have enough thermal energy to jump through the small band gap and occupy higher energy conduction band. The conduction band thus becomes partially filled and the valence band becomes partially empty. The electrons in conduction bands are free to move. When electrical potential is applied to semiconductor, it conducts a small amount of electricity. Now let us discuss about the two types of semiconductor, intrinsic semiconductor and extrinsic semiconductor. What is the intrinsic semiconductor? A pure semiconductor material which has a very low but finite electrical conductivity is called intrinsic conductor. Electrical conductivity of semiconductor increases with increase in the temperature. This is because the number of the electrons with sufficient energy get increased due to increase in temperature. Thus, at high temperature, there are more mobile electrons in conduction band and more vacancies in the valence band than at the low temperature. Intrinsic semiconductors are insulator at lower temperature and they are conductor at high temperature. Now let us discuss about the extrinsic conductor and doping. The conductivity of semiconductor can be increased by doping. The process of addition of minute quantity of impurities to a semiconductor to increase the conductivity is called doping. The added impurity is called dopant. A doped semiconductor having higher conductivity than pure intrinsic semiconductor, and this conductivity is called extrinsic conductivity. There are two types of extrinsic semiconductor, N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductor. Now let us discuss about the N-type semiconductor. Both N-type and P-type semiconductor short notes will be asked frequently in the board exams. So N-type semiconductor, see here the figure. In N-type semiconductor is obtained by doping pure semiconductor material, that is silicon and germanium, with the impurity of group 15 elements. These elements contain more number of valence electrons than that of pure semiconductor. For example, pure silicon doped with phosphorus atom. The phosphorus atom occupies some vacant site in the lattice of silicon in the place of silicon. 4 of the 5 valencies of phosphorus are utilized in bonding the surrounding 4 silicon atom. 1 electron of phosphorus acts as a mobile electron. The silicon doped with phosphorus has more number of electrons in conduction band which can move under the influence of applied potential. In this way, electrical conductivity is observed in N-type semiconductor due to a large number of electrons. Now, let us discuss about the second one is the P-type semiconductor. P-type semiconductor is obtained by doping a pure semiconducting material, silicon or germanium, with an impurity of group 13 element. These elements contain more number of valence electron. This element contain positive hole, and due to this positive hole, electrical conductivity happens. For example, pure silicon doped with boron atom. The boron atom occupies some vacant sites in the lattice of silicon in the place of silicon. Boron atom has 3 valency, all of me knowing about this. It does not have enough electrons to form the bond with its 4 surrounding silicon atoms. Silicon doped with boron has a less number of electrons in conduction band which create a hole. A hole has a tendency to accept electrons from its close vicinity. Thus a hole behaves as if it has a positive charge. The electrons in partially filled valence band move under the influence of applied potential and conduct electricity. The hole move in opposite direction than that of the electricity. So see the figure carefully. 1.28 boron atom occupying the regular site of silicon atom. Here in N-type and P-type semiconductor, what is the difference we have shown here in the figure 1.27. In N-type semiconductor, there are extra electron in the conduction band, and in P-type semiconductor, there creates a hole in the valence band. In this way, both the N-type and P-type conductors are observed. Now the last is being the magnetic properties. The magnetic properties of solids are of 3 types. First is a diamagnetic solid. The substances with all the electrons paired, are repelled by magnetic field. These substances are called diamagnetic solids. For example, N2, NaCl, H2O, these are diamagnetic solids. Pairing of electrons balances the spin, hence they cancel the magnetic moment. The electrons magnetic moment overall get cancelled, so the solid overall act as a diamagnetic. Paramagnetic solid. The substances with unpaired electrons are weakly attracted by magnetic fields. These substances are called paramagnetic solid. For example, oxygen, Cu+2, Cr+3. The third kind of magnetic property is ferromagnetism. The substances containing more number of unpaired electrons are attracted by magnetic field. These substances are ferromagnetic, that is the permanent magnetic properties observed in ferromagnetic substances. All of me must knowing the example is ferrous, cobalt, nickel, gadolinium, CrO3. These are permanent magnetic solids. Thank you.